Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a world that is both familiar and utterly alien. The air is thicker, warmer, heavy with moisture. Towering ferns and cycads dominate the landscape. Forests stretch endlessly, and strange reptiles fill every corner of the earth. Oceans ripple with enormous marine predators. Skies darken under the shadow of flying reptiles, and on land, the rulers of the planet dinosaurs reign supreme. Dinosaurs first appeared around 230 million years ago, in the late Triassic period, when the continents were still joined together in a giant landmass known as Pangaea. They were not immediately the dominant creatures at first. They lived alongside other reptiles, amphibians, and early mammals. But slowly, through evolution and adaptation, they rose to power. By the Jurassic period, about 200 million years ago, dinosaurs had taken their place as the undisputed rulers of the land. They grew to staggering sizes, the towering Brachiosaurus reaching heights of over 40 feet, and the fearsome Allosaurus stalking prey with razor-sharp teeth. Time passed, and by the Cretaceous period, around 145 million years ago, dinosaurs were more diverse than ever. Some, like the Triceratops, were armored and horned, capable of defending themselves against predators. Others, like the infamous Tyrannosaurus rex, were apex predators, unmatched in ferocity. And then there were the smaller, bird-like dinosaurs, whose descendants still live among us today as modern birds. For more than 160 million years, dinosaurs thrived. To put that into perspective, humans, in our modern form, have only existed for about 300,000 years. Dinosaurs were here for over 500 times longer. They adapted to changing climates, shifting continents, and evolving ecosystems. They survived droughts, volcanic eruptions, and natural disasters. By every measure, it seemed as though they would rule forever. But then around 66 million years ago, something happened. Something so sudden, so catastrophic, that it brought an end to their reign almost overnight in geological terms. In the fossil record, we see it clearly. Layers of bones vanish, whole species disappear, and life on Earth changes forever. Scientists call it the Cretaceous-Paleogene Extinction Event, or the KPG event. What could wipe out creatures that had survived for so long? Was it a massive asteroid? Hurtling from space and slamming into Earth? Was it monstrous volcanic eruptions in a place we now call India, belching poison into the skies and choking the atmosphere with ash and sulfur? Or was it a combination of disasters, nature's cruel one-two punch that finally toppled the giants of the Earth? This extinction was not just about the dinosaurs. Nearly 75% of all species on the planet disappeared. Entire food chains collapsed. The seas lost countless marine reptiles. The skies lost their flying reptiles. And the land was emptied of the great dinosaurs. But out of that destruction came something new. The world after the extinction was transformed into a place where mammals once small, fragile and overshadowed were finally able to rise. And from them, much later, came us. The story of how the dinosaurs went extinct is not just about their end. It is about survival, adaptation, and the way life reshapes itself in the face of disaster. Their extinction is one of the most important turning points in Earth's history. Without it, the age of mammals and the story of humans might never have begun. So, let us step back 66 million years in time, to the final days of the Cretaceous. A world vibrant, alive, and thriving, yet unknowingly standing on the edge of catastrophe. Close your eyes and step back in time to 66 million years ago, in the final chapter of the Cretaceous period. The Earth was a world both familiar and alien, vibrant with life and movement. Towering forests of ferns, cycads, and flowering plants stretched as far as the eye could see. The air was thick and humid in some regions, dry and hot in others. Every corner of the planet was teeming with creatures that dominated their environments in ways humans could scarcely imagine. Dinosaurs were at their peak. On the plains of North America, Tyrannosaurus rex stalked the land, its heavy footsteps shaking the earth. Herds of Triceratops grazed cautiously, their horned heads ever alert to danger. The largest of the sauropods, long-necked, heavy, and majestic, moved slowly but powerfully across valleys, feeding on trees towering higher than any modern building. Above, enormous pterosaurs glided on wings wider than an airplane, while smaller feathered dinosaurs flitted among the trees, hinting at the birds we know today. The oceans mirrored this grandeur. Massive marine reptiles such as mosasaurs and plesiosaurs swam through seas crowded with giant fish and ancient sharks. Life was everywhere on land, in the air, and below the waves. Yet beneath this apparent stability, subtle changes were occurring. The planet itself was restless. Volcanic activity in what is now India was increasing, sending clouds of ash and sulfur high into the sky. Sea levels were shifting, sometimes retreating, sometimes rising. Climate patterns were in flux, creating localized stresses that some species would struggle to endure. Despite this, dinosaurs remained dominant. Their reign had lasted over 160 million years, far longer than humans have existed, and they had survived countless natural disasters before. And then, in an instant, everything changed. A massive asteroid, estimated at 6 miles wide, was hurtling through space at tens of thousands of miles per hour. Its destination, Earth. When it struck near the Yucatan Peninsula, the impact unleashed energy greater than billions of nuclear bombs, instantly vaporizing rock and soil, and sending enormous shockwaves rippling across continents. Mega tsunamis raced across the oceans, and earthquakes shook the land. The initial devastation was only the beginning. Debris thrown into the atmosphere blocked sunlight, triggering a nuclear winter that lasted for months or even years. Temperatures plummeted, plants withered, and food chains collapsed. Herbivores starved first, and carnivores soon followed. Forests burned, oceans acidified, and life everywhere struggled to survive. Yet, even in this cataclysm, some creatures endured. Small mammals, certain birds, amphibians, and reptiles found ways to survive underground, in water, or in other protected niches. Their resilience allowed life to continue and eventually gave rise to the mammals, the species that would dominate the post-dinosaur world. The extinction of the dinosaurs was not just an ending. It was a profound turning point. The world they ruled for millions of years vanished almost overnight, leaving a planet forever changed, opening the stage for new life to evolve. Picture the Earth as it was 66 million years ago. A vibrant living planet ruled by dinosaurs. Forests stretched for thousands of miles. Rivers carved valleys, and creatures of all shapes and sizes roamed land, sea, and sky. Life was abundant, and the dinosaurs, having dominated for over 160 million years, seemed unstoppable. Yet, in the blink of geological time, a single event would change everything. From deep space, a massive asteroid, roughly 6 miles wide, was hurtling toward Earth at over 70,000 kilometers per hour. It had traveled millions of miles, unseen and unstoppable, on a collision course with the planet. Scientists today can reconstruct the trajectory, the speed, and even the point of impact. It struck near what is now the Yucatan Peninsula, forming the enormous Chicxulub crater, over 180 kilometers wide. But for the dinosaurs alive at that moment, the consequences were immediate and incomprehensible. The impact released energy equivalent to billions of atomic bombs, vaporizing everything near the collision site. The ground erupted in fire and molten rock. Shockwaves raced outward, flattening forests, shattering mountains, and triggering massive earthquakes. Mega tsunamis, taller than modern skyscrapers, surged across oceans, obliterating coastal ecosystems and reshaping shorelines. The skies were filled with debris, fire, and smoke, blotting out the sun for months to come. The first few seconds after impact were unimaginable. Any creature within hundreds of kilometers of the site perished instantly. Forests caught fire in a chain reaction, burning thousands of square miles in mere hours. Rivers boiled. Oceans heaved. Animals far from the impact site still felt tremors strong enough to topple trees and crush structures. Even for those who survived the initial blast, the world they knew had vanished. In the following days, weeks, and months, the effects rippled across the globe. The debris thrown into the atmosphere blocked sunlight, triggering a catastrophic impact winter. Temperatures plummeted, sometimes by as much as 10 degrees Celsius globally, altering climate patterns and making survival for many species nearly impossible. Plants, deprived of sunlight, began to die off, collapsing the food chain from the bottom up. Herbivores starved first, followed by carnivores that relied on them for sustenance. Beyond the cold, the impact may have triggered acid rain, a lethal cocktail of sulfuric acid falling from the sky, further poisoning rivers, lakes, and soils. Fires, earthquakes, and tsunamis combined to create a planetary catastrophe unlike anything Earth had experienced in millions of years. Life across the globe struggled to endure, and the dinosaurs, despite their dominance and size, could not escape the consequences. Interestingly, evidence suggests that species survived the initial chaos. Small mammals, amphibians, reptiles, and even certain bird lineages managed to endure, often by burrowing underground, hiding in water, or finding ecological niches that offered protection. Their resilience ensured that life did not vanish entirely, even as the mighty dinosaurs disappeared forever. The asteroid impact, as devastating as it was also a turning point in Earth's history. It abruptly ended the reign of the dinosaurs, cleared ecological niches, and allowed mammals to rise. This single cosmic event reshaped the planet's ecosystems, climate, and evolutionary trajectory, ultimately paving the way for the species that would later dominate the Earth, including the day the asteroid struck was the day the world changed forever. From the outside, it might seem like a single instant, a flash of fire in the sky, but its consequences were profound, reshaping the Earth for millions of years to come, leaving a lasting mark in the geological record, and forever altering the story of life on our planet. Long before the asteroid slammed into Earth, the planet was already stirring with deep, molten activity. Far across the globe, in a region that would one day become India, massive volcanoes were erupting relentlessly. These eruptions were not small or fleeting, they were monumental, pouring out rivers of lava that stretched for hundreds of thousands of square kilometers. Geologists today call this volcanic event the Deccan Traps, a series of eruptions so vast that the layers of lava alone are over 2,000 meters thick in some places. Imagine standing near one of these flows. The air trembles with heat. Clouds of gas and ash billow into the sky, turning day into an eerie twilight. Rivers of molten rock carve paths through forests, consuming everything in their path. The smell of sulfur and smoke dominates the landscape, and even creatures far away sense the change. Plants begin to struggle under heavy ashfall, and animals flee the destruction zones in panic. These volcanic eruptions were not a single event. They occurred in pulses, erupting over tens of thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands of years. Each wave of lava and gas released massive amounts of carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere, These gases altered the climate. Sulfur dioxide likely created acid rain that poisoned rivers and soils, while carbon dioxide gradually warmed the planet in a greenhouse effect. The combination created a volatile and unstable environment that challenged even the hardiest of species. While the asteroid may have delivered a sudden, catastrophic blow, the Deccan traps represented a long-term, relentless pressure on ecosystems. Dinosaurs were dealing with increasing environmental stress even before the cosmic collision. Forests were disrupted, food sources became less reliable, and populations may have been gradually declining. The stage was set for disaster. Life on Earth was already under siege from forces it could not control. Some scientists even propose that the asteroid and the Deccan traps eruptions may have worked together, each amplifying the other's impact. The asteroid may have triggered additional volcanic activity, intensifying lava flows and gas emissions. Conversely, the volcanic gases may have made ecosystems more fragile, so that the sudden asteroid strike pushed the planet past the tipping point. In this scenario, the extinction of the dinosaurs was not the result of a single event, but a combination of cosmic and terrestrial catastrophes. The impact on life was profound. Acid rain would have scoured the land, killing plants and contaminating rivers. Ash in the atmosphere blocked sunlight, preventing photosynthesis and causing temperatures to fluctuate wildly. For dinosaurs, these stresses compounded the immediate effects of the asteroid, creating a scenario from which recovery was nearly impossible. Only the smallest, most adaptable species could endure the harsh conditions. Interestingly, the Deccan traps eruptions also left behind clues for scientists today. Layers of volcanic rock, ash, and gas emissions in the geological record tell a story of a world in turmoil. By studying isotopes and chemical signatures, researchers can trace how these eruptions altered the climate, poisoned ecosystems, and stressed populations long before the asteroid arrived. The evidence shows that life on Earth was already fragile, vulnerable, and teetering on the edge of collapse. The volcanic forces of the Deccan traps remind us that extinction is rarely simple. It is rarely the result of a single event or a single cause. Instead, it is a complex interplay of environmental pressures, climate change, and catastrophic incidents. In the case of the dinosaurs, these relentless volcanic eruptions set the stage for a planetary disaster, weakening the giants of the Cretaceous just as the asteroid struck, ensuring that the world they knew would vanish forever. As the lava flows cooled and the ash settled, the Earth became a harsher, darker place. Rivers and forests that had supported life for millions of years disappeared. Dinosaurs, which had survived countless challenges, faced conditions they could not endure. Their extinction, while sudden in geological terms, was the culmination of a series of overwhelming forces, both cosmic and terrestrial, that reshaped the planet and paved the way for new forms of life. The moment the asteroid struck, the world was plunged into chaos. Imagine standing on Earth at that instant. A blinding flash of light splits the sky, shaking the ground beneath your feet. The impact unleashes energy beyond comprehension. Rocks vaporize, oceans churn into monstrous waves, and forests across thousands of miles ignite into massive infernos. Earthquakes ripple through continents, toppling trees and mountains alike. In those first terrifying moments, life as it had existed for millions of years began to unravel. The initial devastation was only the beginning. Molten debris shot high into the atmosphere, igniting fires across continents. Forests burned, plains turned to ash, and the air filled with smoke and soot. The sky darkened as dust and ash blocked sunlight, casting a global shadow that would linger for months. Imagine the sun dimmed to a dull, eerie glow, barely illuminating the landscape. Photosynthesis, the foundation of life, stalled as plants could no longer harness sunlight. Herbivores, dependent on these plants, faced starvation almost immediately. Carnivores, in turn, were trapped in a desperate chain reaction. The mighty Tyrannosaurus rex, apex predator of North America, would have found little prey to hunt. The great herds of Triceratops, ankylosaurs, and other herbivores dwindled rapidly. The air was filled with the sounds of desperation roars, cries, and the threshing of creatures fighting for survival. Rivers and lakes, once teeming with fish and amphibians, became toxic from acid rain and ashfall. Marine ecosystems were equally devastated, as plankton, the base of the oceanic food chain, died off under the darkness, causing starvation to ripple up through the seas. The climate plunged into extremes. The Earth experienced a sudden, harsh impact winter. Temperatures fell dramatically as sunlight remained blocked, sometimes for months or even years. In the cold and darkness, survival was a daily struggle. Regions that had once been temperate became frozen, while areas already warm suffered heat spikes from the lingering greenhouse gases released by volcanic eruptions. The world became unpredictable, dangerous, and unforgiving. Amid this devastation, famine became widespread. Plants that survived the initial firestorms struggled to grow without sunlight. Herbivores weakened and died, their bodies unable to sustain the predators that depended on them. Entire food chains collapsed. Species that had thrived for millions of years could not adapt quickly enough to the radical changes in their environment. Yet, even in the face of global catastrophe, life clung to existence. Small mammals burrowed underground, avoiding the fires and the freezing cold. Amphibians survived in rivers and lakes, sometimes shielded from the acid rain by water's buffering effect. Birds, which were smaller feathered dinosaurs, found niches where they could persist. Their survival would prove crucial in shaping life on Earth for millions of years to come. The fires, darkness, and famine of this period were not just natural disasters. They were a test of endurance on a planetary scale. They revealed the fragility of even the mightiest creatures. Dinosaurs, once rulers of every ecosystem, were brought low not by a predator, but by forces far beyond their control. This immediate aftermath left scars that would endure in the fossil record for millions of years. Charcoal layers mark widespread wildfires. Ash layers tell of the asteroid's catastrophic impact. Fossilized remains show the sudden disappearance of species across continents. Every element of the Earth's surface bears witness to the scale of the devastation, a testament to the profound change that occurred in such a short span of time. In those dark months and years, the world teetered on the brink. Firestorms, darkness, and famine reshaped the landscape. Life was forced into hiding. Survival became a test of adaptability and resilience. And as the dust began to settle, only a fraction of Earth's species remained, setting the stage for the slow rebuilding of ecosystems and the dawn of a new age, the age of mammals. The story of the dinosaurs' extinction is not only told in dramatic theories of asteroids and volcanoes. It is written in stone, buried deep within the Earth. Fossils, rocks, and layers of sediment serve as time capsules, preserving clues about what happened 66 million years ago. These remnants allow scientists to piece together a story that would otherwise be lost to time, revealing both the abruptness and the scale of the catastrophe that ended the age of dinosaurs. Walk through the fossil record as it appears today. In layers of sediment corresponding to the end of the Cretaceous period, there is a sudden disappearance of dinosaur bones. Entire groups vanish almost instantly, geologically speaking. For decades, paleontologists were puzzled. How could creatures that had survived for millions of years vanish so suddenly? The pattern in the fossil record hinted at a sudden, global event, not a slow decline. The discovery of the Chicxulub crater in the 1970s provided a tangible piece of the puzzle. Buried beneath the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, this massive impact crater, confirmed the presence of a colossal asteroid. Scientists examined layers of rock around the globe, finding tiny fragments of the asteroid, known as iridium, a rare metal more common in space than on Earth. These layers, known as the KPG boundary, appear worldwide, showing that the impact had effects on a planetary scale. But fossils tell more than just the timing of extinction. They reveal the environmental aftermath. Charred plant remains indicate massive wildfires. Fossilized marine organisms, including plankton and shellfish, show sudden die-offs in the oceans, evidence of disrupted food chains. In some regions, fossilized soils contain chemical signatures of acid rain. Each fossil, each rock layer, each trace of life or its sudden absence, adds a piece to the story of how Earth's ecosystems collapsed. Interestingly, the fossil record also shows survival. While the massive dinosaurs disappeared, some small mammals, amphibians, and birds survived. These survivors provide critical insight into resilience. By examining their fossils, scientists can infer how certain traits, burrowing, small size, flexible diets, allowed life to endure when the giants fell. Fossils show a pattern. The smaller and more adaptable a creature was, the more likely it was to survive. Fossils also reveal the speed of the event. In some regions, there are almost no transitional fossils between the Cretaceous and Paleogene layers, suggesting a rapid extinction. It wasn't a slow decline over thousands of years. It was a catastrophic event that changed life on Earth in a geological heartbeat. This abruptness aligns with the asteroid impact theory, showing how a single cosmic event, combined with ongoing environmental stresses like volcanism, could wipe out dominant species in months or decades. Paleontologists also study microscopic fossils, such as pollen and spores, which provide clues about plant life. These tiny remnants show a sudden collapse of flora, supporting the idea of a prolonged dark period and famine. Even deep-sea fossils offer evidence, as layers of clay and ash mark the aftermath of environmental upheaval. Life in oceans suffered as much as life on land, reinforcing the idea that the extinction event was global, not localized. By combining fossils, rock layers, chemical signatures, and modern technologies like radiometric dating, scientists can reconstruct the final days of the dinosaurs with astonishing detail. They can trace the timeline of devastation, piece together the causes, and even visualize the ecosystems that were lost. Every fossil is a storyteller, whispering secrets of a world that no longer exists. Through this fossil evidence, we gain more than knowledge, we gain perspective. We see the fragility of life, the suddenness of catastrophe, and the intricate web of survival that allowed some species to endure while others perished. Fossils are not just remnants of bones and shells. They are the key to understanding one of the greatest events in Earth's history, giving life to a story that unfolded 66 million years ago and forever changed our planet. While the asteroid impact theory dominates discussions about the dinosaurs' extinction, the story is more complex than a single cosmic collision. Earth's history is full of environmental pressures, and scientists continue to explore other factors that may have contributed to the demise of these giants. Understanding these theories adds depth to the narrative and reminds us that extinction is rarely simple. One of the most significant alternate explanations focuses on the Deccan Traps, the massive volcanic eruptions in what is now India. For hundreds of thousands of years, lava flowed across the land, releasing enormous amounts of gas into the atmosphere. Sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide created acid rain, altered climates, and disrupted ecosystems. While not as sudden as the asteroid, these eruptions gradually made survival more difficult, weakening populations long before the cosmic impact. Climate change played a critical role. Fossil and geological evidence suggests that the planet experienced periods of warming and cooling, shifts in sea level, and changing ocean currents. These environmental fluctuations would have stressed habitats and food sources, making life more precarious. Dinosaurs were large and required vast amounts of food, so any disruption in the availability of plants or prey could have serious consequences. Another factor may have been disease. Large populations living in close proximity can spread pathogens rapidly. While evidence is limited, some scientists speculate that viruses or bacteria could have affected dinosaur populations, compounding the effects of environmental stress. When combined with asteroid impact and volcanism, even a minor outbreak could tip ecosystems toward collapse. Competition may also have played a role. By the late Cretaceous, mammals, although small, were diversifying. Birds and reptiles were also adapting in new ways. While these creatures were not directly responsible for the dinosaurs' extinction, the changing dynamics of ecosystems might have contributed to instability. Shifts in predator-prey relationships and resource availability could have weakened certain species, making them more vulnerable to catastrophic events. Some scientists propose that multiple stressors combine to create a perfect storm. In this view, the asteroid alone did not wipe out the dinosaurs. Instead, it acted on a planet already stressed by volcanic activity, climate shifts, and ecological pressures. The asteroid may have been the final, decisive blow, but the groundwork for extinction had been laid over thousands of years. Evidence also shows that not all dinosaur groups were equally affected. Some smaller, bird-like dinosaurs survived, hinting at the importance of adaptability in size and survival. These survivors eventually gave rise to modern birds, a living legacy of the age of dinosaurs. Fossil patterns suggest that the more specialized a species was, the harder it was to survive drastic changes. Giants like T-Rex or Triceratops, while dominant, were less adaptable when conditions shifted abruptly. It's important to note that science is always evolving. New discoveries, whether of fossils, rock layers, or chemical signatures, continue to refine our understanding of the extinction event. Each theory, whether focusing on asteroids, volcanoes, climate change, disease, or ecosystem shifts, contributes to a richer, more nuanced story. The extinction of the dinosaurs was likely the result of multiple factors interacting in complex ways. A reminder of how delicate life can be even for the mightiest creatures. By exploring these alternative causes, we also gain insight into the resilience of life. Even in the face of enormous challenges, some species endured, adapted, and eventually flourished. These survivors show us that extinction is not only about loss, but also about transformation. The Earth's ecosystems were rebuilt after the dinosaurs, paving the way for mammals and eventually humans to rise. The story of dinosaur extinction, therefore, is not a single dramatic event, but a tapestry of interconnected forces. Asteroids, volcanoes, climate shifts, disease and ecological pressures all contributed to a world-ending upheaval. Understanding this complexity deepens our appreciation for the fragility of life and the incredible adaptability required to survive when the Earth itself changes around you. Even as the world plunged into darkness, fire, and famine, not all life vanished. Some creatures endured, hiding in ecological niches that protected them from the full force of the catastrophe. These survivors became the foundation for a new era, shaping life on Earth in ways the dinosaurs never could have imagined. Small mammals were among the most successful survivors. For millions of years, they had lived in the shadows of the giants, avoiding predators, scavenging, and burrowing underground. Their small size and adaptability became critical advantages. Underground burrows shielded them from fires, falling debris, and extreme temperature changes. They survived on seeds, insects, and whatever plant matter remained, patiently waiting for the planet to recover. These tiny creatures would eventually diversify into countless forms, setting the stage for the mammals' rise to dominance in the Paleogene period. Birds. The feathered descendants of small theropod dinosaurs also survived. Their ability to fly offered access to food sources and shelter that ground-dwelling species lacked. Some may have relied on seeds, insects, or small prey to endure the long months of darkness and scarcity. Over time, these birds became a lasting link between the age of dinosaurs and the modern world, a living reminder of a time when giants roamed the earth. Reptiles and amphibians also found ways to persist. Certain lizards, snakes, turtles, and frogs endured in water bodies or burrows, benefiting from aquatic refuges that shielded them from firestorms and harsh atmospheric changes. Their survival was less about strength and more about adaptability and timing. Life found pockets of opportunity even amid planetary collapse. Even the oceans, though heavily affected, harbored survivors. Some fish, mollusks, and plankton species endured, forming the basis for marine food webs in the post-dinosaur world. These survivors ensured that aquatic ecosystems could eventually recover, highlighting the resilience of life in the face of global catastrophe. The extinction of the dinosaurs opened ecological niches previously dominated by massive reptiles. With herbivores and apex predators gone, mammals and birds faced unprecedented opportunities. Forests regrew, plants flourished, and the earth slowly returned to a rhythm of life, albeit very different from before. Mammals, once small and marginal, began to diversify, experimenting with size, diet, and habitats. Within a few million years, they occupied the roles left vacant by dinosaurs, some becoming formidable predators, others grazing or climbing in forests. This period of survival and adaptation also illustrates a key lesson about evolution. Catastrophes, while destructive, create opportunities for new life to flourish. The extinction of the dinosaurs was tragic in scale, yet it allowed mammals and birds to evolve and dominate. Without that mass extinction, species like humans may never have emerged. Survival was not about being the strongest. It was about being flexible, opportunistic, and sometimes simply lucky. Fossils of these survivors reveal the dramatic transition from the age of dinosaurs to the age of mammals. Paleontologists can trace lineages, see changes in size, diet, and behavior, and even detect how ecosystems slowly recovered. Each survivor represents a thread connecting a shattered world to the vibrant tapestry of life that followed. By studying these survivors, we gain insight into resilience, adaptability, and the unpredictable paths of evolution. Life did not just continue, it transformed, creating a new world that would eventually host forests, oceans, plains, and species that the dinosaurs could never have imagined. The extinction of giants, devastating as it was, became the fertile ground for a new chapter of life on Earth. Even though the massive dinosaurs disappeared from the Earth, their story didn't end entirely. In fact, their legacy lives on in ways that continue to fascinate scientists and captivate the imagination of the public. The most direct descendants of dinosaurs are birds, a connection that reshapes how we think about these ancient creatures and their place in our world today. Birds are living dinosaurs. That might sound strange at first, but the evidence is overwhelming. Fossil discoveries of small theropod dinosaurs reveal feathers, hollow bones, and other characteristics once thought unique to birds. Modern birds inherit these traits, carrying in their DNA a direct line to their prehistoric ancestors. When we see an eagle soaring, a hummingbird hovering, or even a chicken pecking in the yard, we are witnessing the echoes of creatures that lived alongside T-Rex millions of years ago. But the connection doesn't stop at feathers. Scientists studying bird anatomy, behavior, and genetics have uncovered astonishing links to dinosaurs. Birds walk on two legs like their theropod ancestors, possess similar respiratory systems, and even show behaviors such as brooding eggs. reminiscent of parenting strategies inferred from fossilized dinosaur nests. Every chirp, flap, and migration hints at evolutionary innovations developed over millions of years. DNA analysis deepens this connection. Advances in molecular biology allow scientists to compare genes across species. The genetic blueprint of birds contains fragments of dinosaur history, from bone development to metabolism. Even their growth rates and patterns can echo the strategies of extinct dinosaurs. By examining these details, researchers are reconstructing aspects of dinosaur biology that bones alone cannot reveal. Fossilized nests and eggs provide further evidence of dinosaur-bird connections. Some fossils show intricate patterns of eggs laid in organized nests, with parents possibly protecting their young. This suggests complex social behaviors and nurturing strategies, traits we often associate with modern birds. These discoveries challenge the image of dinosaurs as solely ferocious predators or solitary giants, revealing a world of family dynamics, care, and adaptation. The legacy of dinosaurs also extends into the imagination of humans. Cultural depictions in books, movies, and art draw inspiration from fossil discoveries, blending scientific fact with wonder and speculation. Dinosaurs captivate because they are simultaneously alien and familiar, prehistoric yet connected to life we see today. Birds, in particular, serve as a living reminder that the past is never truly gone. It persists in unexpected forms. Scientists even explore the possibility of using DNA and genetics to learn more about extinct species, sparking discussions of de-extinction. While cloning a T-Rex remains science fiction, the study of dinosaur DNA fragments in fossils and comparative genomics with birds offers tantalizing glimpses into what the biology of these giants might have been like. Every discovery connects us more closely to an ancient world, bridging millions of years of evolution. The legacy of dinosaurs also has ecological implications. Birds today fill roles that echo those of their ancient ancestors. Herbivores, predators, scavengers, and pollinators. Ecosystems rely on these creatures, demonstrating how the survival of certain species after the mass extinction shaped the balance of life on Earth. Without the small, adaptable survivors, the post-dinosaur world and ultimately the rise of mammals might have looked entirely different. In essence, the dinosaurs did not vanish completely. Their bones, their DNA, and their living descendants ensure that a piece of their era persists. When we watch birds migrate across the sky, hear them sing in the forest, or see their behaviors in the wild, we are witnessing a living connection to a past that was both violent and magnificent. The extinction of the dinosaurs marked an end, but it also sowed the seeds for a legacy that continues to shape life on Earth today. Even after decades of research, the extinction of the dinosaurs remains one of the most fascinating and debated events in Earth's history. While the asteroid impact theory and volcanic activity explain much, scientists continue to investigate lingering questions, exploring mysteries that challenge our understanding of life's resilience and the dynamics of catastrophic change. One of the biggest debates revolves around the speed and timing of extinction. Did all dinosaurs vanish almost instantaneously following the asteroid impact? Or were some already in decline due to long-term environmental pressures? Fossil evidence varies across regions, leading to different interpretations. Some paleontologists argue for a rapid, sudden extinction, while others see signs of gradual decline in certain species. This ongoing debate reflects the complexity of interpreting the fossil record, which is incomplete and biased by what survives the eons. Another mystery involves regional differences in survival. While some areas show complete devastation, others reveal signs of lingering life. Why did some species survive in certain habitats while being wiped out elsewhere? Factors like climate, vegetation, and ecological niches may have played roles, but the details remain unclear. Scientists continue to explore how geography, climate resilience, and adaptation influence survival patterns. There is also controversy over the relative importance of the asteroid versus volcanism. The Chicxulub impact undoubtedly caused sudden catastrophe, but the Deccan Traps eruptions were already altering the environment for thousands of years. Did the asteroid alone trigger the mass extinction, or was it the final blow to an already stressed planet? Some researchers argue for a combined effect, where long-term volcanism weakened ecosystems and the asteroid delivered the decisive strike. This multi-factor theory is gaining traction, but still fuels spirited debate among experts. The role of climate change and sea level fluctuations is another topic of discussion. Evidence suggests that shifts in ocean currents, temperatures, and sea levels may have stressed marine and terrestrial ecosystems before the asteroid struck. These environmental pressures could have made populations more vulnerable, accelerating extinction. Scientists continue to investigate how these factors intersected with catastrophic events, trying to understand how multiple stresses interacted to drive the collapse of life. Some researchers even question whether disease or pathogens could have played a role. While direct evidence is scarce, the possibility remains that epidemics weakened populations already stressed by environmental change. Small mammals, amphibians, and birds may have survived due in part to their ability to find refuges, while large dinosaurs, more vulnerable to disease, succumbed. The fossil record itself presents challenges. Some species disappear abruptly, others gradually. Fossilization is rare and selective, leaving gaps in our understanding. As new fossils are discovered, scientists constantly refine theories, sometimes overturning long-held assumptions. Each new find, whether a perfectly preserved skeleton, a fossilized egg, or microscopic pollen, adds pieces to the puzzle, but also raises fresh questions. Even the asteroid impact itself raises mysteries. How did the debris affect global climates over the following months and years? How did different ecosystems respond to sunlight loss, acid rain, and temperature swings? These questions are being explored using advanced climate models, computer simulations, and geological studies, yet definitive answers remain elusive. The extinction of the dinosaurs is also a source of fascination for its broader implications. It forces us to consider how life responds to sudden, catastrophic change. What determines survival and extinction? How do ecosystems recover after near-total collapse? These questions resonate today, as humans face environmental challenges and consider the fragility of modern ecosystems. Ultimately, the debates and controversies surrounding dinosaur extinction remind us that science is a living process. New discoveries, technologies, and perspectives continually refine our understanding. While we have answers to many questions, the mysteries that remain keep the story of the dinosaurs alive, inviting curiosity, imagination, and ongoing exploration. Even 66 million years later, the extinction of the dinosaurs continues to inspire wonder, debate, and investigation, ensuring that their story is not just a chapter of the past, but a vibrant, ongoing dialogue about life, death, and survival on our ever-changing planet. The story of the dinosaurs' extinction is more than a tale of fire, ice, and cosmic catastrophe. It is a story of resilience, adaptation, and the fragility of life, offering lessons that resonate even today. By studying their rise, dominance, and sudden disappearance, we gain insight not only into the past, but also into the principles that govern survival on Earth. First, the extinction reminds us that no species, no matter how dominant, is invincible. Dinosaurs ruled the planet for over 160 million years, evolving into terrifying predators, massive herbivores, and agile hunters. Yet, a combination of environmental pressures, asteroid impact, and volcanic activity prove that even the mightiest can fall. This teaches us about the unpredictability of life and the importance of adaptability in the face of change. Survival is often about adaptability and flexibility, not size or strength. The small mammals, birds, and certain reptiles that endured the mass extinction did so because they could exploit niches, hide from danger, and adjust their diets and behaviors. Evolution favors those who can adapt to shifting conditions, even if they are not the most dominant in ordinary circumstances. The lesson is clear. Survival often belongs to the versatile and resourceful. The extinction event also emphasizes the interconnectedness of ecosystems. Dinosaurs disappeared not simply because of the asteroid, but because their food sources, habitats, and climate were disrupted. When one part of an ecosystem fails, the consequences ripple through the entire network of life. This teaches us to respect the delicate balance of nature and to recognize how environmental changes, whether natural or human-caused, can have cascading effects. Dinosaurs' legacy highlights the power of resilience and recovery. After the extinction, life did not vanish. Mammals diversified, birds flourished, and ecosystems gradually rebuilt. Recovery took millions of years, but the Earth proved capable of bouncing back. This resilience is a reminder that life is persistent, often finding a way even after extreme disruption. Another lesson is the role of chance and timing in survival. The species that endured the asteroid impact and volcanic aftermath did so partly by luck, being small, hidden, or adaptable enough to escape immediate destruction. Extinction is often not about the best species, but the ones positioned to survive catastrophic events. This teaches humility and perspective when we consider our own place in the web of life. The extinction of the dinosaurs also offers a window into evolutionary opportunity. With the giants gone, mammals and birds had the chance to diversify, occupy new ecological niches, and eventually evolve into forms as varied as whales, elephants, and humans. Catastrophe, while destructive, can pave the way for innovation and transformation, demonstrating that endings often contain the seeds of new beginnings. Finally, studying dinosaur extinction teaches us about the fragility of our planet. The forces that wiped out these creatures, a single asteroid, volcanic eruptions, and environmental upheaval, remind us that Earth is dynamic and vulnerable. Life can be resilient, but it is not immune to extreme events. Understanding past extinctions provides perspective on modern challenges, from climate change to habitat loss, encouraging us to consider how we protect the ecosystems we rely upon. The dinosaurs' story is both cautionary and inspiring. It shows the consequences of sudden change, the importance of adaptability, and the enduring legacy of life even after catastrophe. By learning from their extinction, we gain insights into survival, evolution, and the remarkable resilience of life on Earth. In the end, the dinosaurs teach us that life is a delicate dance of chance, adaptation, and endurance. Their reign may have ended, but their lessons echo through time, reminding us that survival depends not only on strength but on flexibility, resourcefulness, and the ability to navigate an ever-changing world. Imagine a world where the asteroid missed, or volcanic eruptions were less severe. What would Earth look like if dinosaurs had survived? This thought experiment opens the door to a fascinating journey of speculation, science, and imagination, where we explore how life, and perhaps even human history, might have unfolded differently. First, consider the ecological impact. Dinosaurs dominated land ecosystems for millions of years, often as apex predators or massive herbivores. If they had survived, mammals might have remained small and inconspicuous, continuing to live in the shadows of these giants. The evolution of large mammals and ultimately humans could have been delayed or dramatically altered. Forests and plains might still be ruled by towering sauropods, herds of triceratops, or the stealthy Tyrannosaurus rex. The presence of dinosaurs would also have influenced climate and vegetation. Large herbivores shape their environments by feeding patterns, trampling vegetation, and dispersing seeds. Earth's ecosystems would be fundamentally different, with the landscapes molded by massive creatures rather than mammals alone. Plant life, river systems, and even atmospheric carbon levels might have evolved under the influence of dinosaurs' continued dominance. Predation dynamics would also be fascinating to consider. Apex predators like T-Rex or Spinosaurus would maintain control over large prey populations, potentially suppressing the rise of other species. Birds, small reptiles, and early mammals might be confined to niches that offered protection, much as they did during the Mesozoic. Evolution would favor stealth, speed, and ingenuity among survivors, creating a world where adaptation was a constant struggle for survival. Would humans have evolved at all? If dinosaurs had survived, it's possible that large, intelligent mammals would have faced constraints that prevented the emergence of our species. Perhaps a parallel form of intelligent life could have evolved, adapted to coexist with dinosaurs, but it is likely that the dominance of humans as we know it would be very different or perhaps impossible. Civilization, agriculture, and urban development might never have taken the form we recognize today. The oceans, too, would be impacted. Marine reptiles like mosasaurs or plesiosaurs might still patrol the seas, competing with sharks and other marine life. The balance of ocean ecosystems would be very different, with dominant predators shaping fish populations and influencing evolutionary pathways. Coral reefs, plankton populations, and even modern marine mammals could be drastically altered. Science fiction often explores these scenarios, imagining worlds where humans and dinosaurs coexist. Stories of urban predators, flying raptors, and massive roaming herbivores spark the imagination, but they also invite us to consider the profound influence that mass extinction events have on the trajectory of life. The absence of dinosaurs created the opportunities for mammals and humans. Their survival could have created an Earth unrecognizable to us. Even the microworld would be affected. Insects, fungi, and microorganisms interact with the larger creatures around them. Dinosaurs would shape nutrient cycles, soil composition, and the spread of disease in ways that continue to ripple through ecosystems. Evolution is not just about the largest species. It's about how all life interacts, adapts, and responds to the presence or absence of dominant species. Finally, this alternate Earth reminds us of the fragility and contingency of life. A single asteroid, volcanic eruption, or climate event can reshape the planet for millions of years. Dinosaurs' extinction allowed mammals, birds, and eventually humans to thrive. Imagining a world where they survived is a vivid illustration of how chance and circumstance shape evolution, survival, and the story of life itself. By exploring this what-if scenario, we gain perspective on the forces that have shaped our world. The dinosaurs' survival would have rewritten Earth's history, creating a planet dominated by giants, with humans perhaps only a minor footnote. It's a reminder that extinction is not just an end but a turning point, and that every species' survival or demise ripples through the web of life in ways we can scarcely imagine. To truly understand dinosaurs, it's not enough to know when they lived or how they died. We must step into their world, observing how these magnificent creatures behaved, hunted and navigated the ecosystems that sustained them for millions of years. Behavior is often hidden from fossils, yet paleontologists have uncovered astonishing clues that reveal a dynamic, vibrant world. Take hunting, for example. Predators like Tyrannosaurus rex and Velociraptor were not mindless killers. Their bones show strong musculature and keen adaptations for tracking prey. Evidence from fossilized footprints, bite marks, and preserved skeletons suggests hunting strategies that included ambush, pack tactics, and patience. A T-Rex might have stalked prey over long distances, using its keen sense of smell to detect even faint trails. Velociraptors, smaller but swift, could have coordinated in packs to outmaneuver herbivores, demonstrating surprising intelligence for reptiles. Herbivorous dinosaurs were no less fascinating. Triceratops, Ankylosaurus, and hadrosaurs faced constant threats from predators. Fossilized bones show healed injuries, indicating that these animals survived battles and learned to cope with danger. Herding behavior is inferred from trackways, showing groups moving together, providing safety in numbers. Some species may have used elaborate defenses, horns, armored plating, or even coordinated displays to deter predators. Life for herbivores was a delicate balance between feeding and avoiding becoming someone else's meal. Social behavior adds another layer of intrigue. Evidence suggests that some dinosaurs, particularly smaller species, engaged in complex social interactions. Nesting sites with multiple eggs hint at parental care, where adults protected and nurtured their young. Fossilized nests sometimes reveal communal nesting areas, suggesting cooperation, or at least tolerance between individuals. Even large predators may have had social structures that we are only beginning to understand. Communication was likely key to survival. While we cannot hear their calls, anatomical studies of skulls and vocal structures suggest that some species could produce sounds for mating, warning, or coordination. Visual displays, feathers, crests, and coloration patterns may have conveyed dominance, readiness to mate, or warnings to rivals. Each interaction was part of a sophisticated system of signals, keeping the species alive in a competitive world. Dinosaurs also displayed remarkable adaptability to their environments. Fossil evidence shows they lived in deserts, forests, swamps, and polar regions, each with unique challenges. Some species could migrate seasonally, tracking resources like water or food. Others developed specialized diets, feeding on specific plants or hunting certain prey, highlighting the intricate balance between anatomy, behavior, and ecological role. Even daily survival required innovation. Thermoregulation, or controlling body temperature, is evident in bone structure and fossilized remains. Some dinosaurs may have used behavior like basking in the sun, burrowing, or huddling to maintain optimal body temperatures. Feathered species may have had insulation, allowing them to thrive in cooler climates, while massive sauropods relied on sheer size and blood circulation adaptations to manage heat. Predator-prey dynamics shaped evolution. Herbivores developed speed, armor, and intelligence, while predators refined tactics, strength, and cooperation. This evolutionary arms race created a constantly shifting balance in ecosystems. Fossil evidence such as healed bite marks or broken bones shows the intensity of these interactions, providing snapshots of life and death struggles that occurred millions of years ago. Even reproduction reveals fascinating behaviors. Egg fossils, nesting patterns, and fossilized embryos indicate that dinosaurs invested energy in raising offspring. Some species likely laid large numbers of eggs to increase survival chances, while others provided parental care, protecting and feeding their young. These strategies reveal a sophisticated approach to survival, emphasizing not just strength, but foresight and social behavior. By examining behavior, hunting, and survival strategies, we gain a more complete picture of dinosaur life. They were not mere monsters roaming the earth. They were complex, adaptive creatures, navigating ecosystems with intelligence, skill, and resilience. Understanding their behavior allows us to connect with the world they inhabited, bringing to life a planet that existed long before humans arrived, full of wonder, danger, and extraordinary life. When we think of dinosaurs, images of towering predators or massive herbivores often come to mind. But intelligence is another fascinating dimension that brings these creatures to life. Understanding how smart dinosaurs were offers insight into how they survived, interacted, and thrived in their ecosystems, revealing complexity beyond raw size and strength. Brain size is an important clue, though it doesn't tell the whole story. Paleontologists estimate intelligence by comparing brain volume to body size, creating what is called the encephalization quotient. Smaller dinosaurs like Velociraptor and Troodon had relatively large brains, suggesting heightened problem-solving abilities, agility, and possibly complex social behaviors. Larger species, like Brachiosaurus or Triceratops, had smaller brains relative to their massive bodies, yet intelligence might have manifested in ways not reflected by size alone, such as memory for migration routes or group coordination. Some evidence suggests that hunting dinosaurs exhibited strategic thinking. Pack hunters likely needed coordination to trap prey effectively. Planning, timing, and communication would have been essential. Fossils showing healed injuries on prey indicate repeated hunting attempts, suggesting persistence and adaptability rather than brute force alone. These predators demonstrate intelligence in their survival tactics, not unlike modern wolves or big cats. Social intelligence is another area of interest. Fossilized nesting grounds, trackways, and group formations suggest that certain species, particularly small to mid-sized dinosaurs, engaged in cooperative behaviors. Parents may have protected their young, individuals may have warned each other of danger, and herding behaviors could reflect a level of social awareness that helped avoid predators and increase survival chances. Intelligence here is intertwined with social interaction, showing that brains evolved to manage relationships as well as threats. Communication was likely a key factor in their intelligence. Many dinosaurs had specialized crests, frills, or even feather patterns, possibly used for signaling. Some may have produced sounds for mating calls, territorial disputes, or warnings of danger. Interpreting these signals and responding appropriately would require cognitive abilities, demonstrating that intelligence is not just about hunting or tool use. It's about understanding and reacting to the environment and other creatures. Problem-solving and adaptability are evident in fossil evidence. Some dinosaurs evolved specialized features to exploit specific niches, such as long necks for browsing tall trees, sharp claws for catching prey, or beaks for stripping vegetation. These adaptations indicate the capacity to survive in diverse habitats, requiring learning, memory, and instinctual flexibility, a kind of intelligence necessary for thriving in a constantly changing world. Even in reproduction, intelligence may have played a role. Caring for young, constructing nests, and protecting eggs from predators suggest planning, foresight, and behavioral sophistication. Fossilized nests of certain species indicate that adults return to the same site repeatedly, demonstrating memory and spatial awareness. Intelligence in dinosaurs, therefore, may have been subtle but crucial to the survival of species. Some scientists argue that birds, as direct descendants of theropod dinosaurs, inherited aspects of dinosaur intelligence. Observing modern birds' problem-solving, social behaviors, and memory provides a window into the cognitive abilities of their ancient ancestors. Crows, parrots, and ravens, for instance, show remarkable ingenuity, hinting that small theropods could have exhibited similar cleverness, though in a prehistoric context. The diversity of intelligence among dinosaurs also highlights evolutionary strategies. Not every species needed high cognitive skills. For massive herbivores, survival relied more on size, defenses, and numbers. But for agile predators and social species, intelligence was a key tool for navigating threats, finding food, and reproducing successfully. Each species' cognitive abilities were shaped by its ecological needs. Ultimately, exploring dinosaur intelligence helps us see them not merely as monsters of the past, but as dynamic, adaptive creatures capable of learning, interacting, and surviving in complex ecosystems. Their brains, behaviors, and social structures remind us that survival often depends as much on thinking and strategy as on physical power. By studying their intelligence, we connect more deeply with a world that existed millions of years before humans walked the earth, offering a richer, more vivid picture of life in the age of dinosaurs. To truly understand dinosaurs, we must step beyond individual species and explore the environments in which they thrived. The Mesozoic era was a world of lush forests, sprawling plains, and vast swamps, each ecosystem hosting a dazzling array of life. These habitats shaped the behaviors, adaptations, and interactions of dinosaurs in ways that still fascinate scientists today. Forests were a central feature of the Mesozoic landscape. Towering conifers, cycads, and ferns created dense canopies, offering food, shelter, and hiding places. Sauropods, with their long necks, were perfectly adapted to reach high foliage, stripping leaves from treetops with incredible efficiency. Smaller dinosaurs darted between tree trunks, using the undergrowth for camouflage and protection. The complexity of forest ecosystems demanded constant adaptation, whether for hunting, foraging, or avoiding predators. Plains, in contrast, provided open spaces where speed and endurance became vital. Herds of herbivores like hadrosaurs and triceratops roamed in groups, grazing across vast expanses. Their size offered protection, while numbers ensured safety in collective vigilance. Predators adapted accordingly, developing strategies for stalking, ambushing, or chasing prey across open terrain. These plains were arenas of intense interaction, where every step and movement had consequences for survival. Swamps and wetlands were equally critical. These water-rich environments supported a wealth of plants and smaller animals, creating food sources for both herbivores and carnivores. Dinosaurs such as Spinosaurus may have been semi-aquatic, using rivers and marshes to hunt fish and amphibians. Swamps offered both opportunity and danger, as predators lurked among the reeds and soft ground could trap the unwary. The interplay of water, land, and vegetation shaped a complex and vibrant ecosystem. Coexistence among species was an intricate balancing act. Predators, herbivores, and omnivores formed dynamic food webs. Fossil evidence of tooth marks, coprolites, and trackways reveals interactions between species chasers, feeding habits, and competition. Every ecosystem was a network of interdependence, where the success of one species could influence the survival of many others. Seasonal changes also influenced Mesozoic life. Evidence from growth rings in dinosaur bones and plant fossils suggests that food availability, temperature, and rainfall fluctuated over time. Some species likely migrated to follow resources, while others adapted to endure droughts or cold snaps. Survival required not just strength or size, but an understanding of the environment and the ability to respond to its rhythms. Climate shaped these ecosystems dramatically. During the Mesozoic, the Earth was generally warmer than today, with high levels of carbon dioxide creating lush vegetation. Polar regions were milder, supporting dinosaurs even near the poles, though they faced challenges like extended periods of darkness during winter. These conditions required physiological and behavioral adaptations, influencing everything from metabolism to social behavior. Interactions with other life forms were vital. Insects, mammals, birds, and aquatic species all shared these environments, forming complex webs of competition, predation, and symbiosis. Plants evolved defenses against herbivory, while dinosaurs developed specialized teeth, claws, and digestive systems. Life in these ecosystems was a continuous arms race, where survival depended on constant innovation and adaptation. Disasters such as storms, floods, and volcanic eruptions also played roles in shaping these habitats. Ecosystems were dynamic, sometimes violently altered, forcing species to adapt, relocate, or perish. Fossilized forests, sediment layers, and trackways provide glimpses into these events, revealing how dinosaurs coped with environmental challenges on both small and large scales. Ultimately, exploring Mesozoic ecosystems allows us to see dinosaurs not as isolated creatures, but as parts of intricate, interdependent systems. Forests, plains, and swamps were arenas of life, competition, and survival, shaping the behaviors and evolution of these remarkable animals. By walking through these ancient worlds in our imagination, we gain a vivid understanding of how dinosaurs lived, adapted, and dominated Earth long before humans arrived. One of the most fascinating ways to understand dinosaurs is by exploring what they ate. Diet influenced their size, behavior, social structures, and survival strategies. Dinosaurs were not all ferocious predators or massive plant eaters. They occupied a wide range of dietary niches, from the tiniest insectivores to enormous sauropods, capable of consuming tons of vegetation each day. Carnivorous dinosaurs were among the most notorious. Tyrannosaurus rex, with its massive jaws and serrated teeth, could crush bone and tear flesh with ease. Yet hunting was often more than brute strength. It required intelligence, strategy, and patience. Smaller predators, such as Velociraptor, likely relied on speed and agility, hunting in packs or ambushing prey. Fossil evidence, including bite marks and healed injuries, reveals that hunting could be a repeated, strategic endeavor, not a one-time act of violence. Herbivorous dinosaurs displayed a remarkable variety of adaptations for plant eating. Triceratops had strong, beak-like mouths for slicing tough vegetation, while hadrosaurs used rows of grinding teeth to process ferns, cycads, and conifers. Sauropods like Brachiosaurus relied on their long necks to reach treetops, consuming enormous amounts of foliage to sustain their massive bodies. Their diets shaped their size, movement, and even social behavior, as some species traveled in herds to graze efficiently across large areas. Omnivorous dinosaurs combined plant and animal matter in their diets, often adapting to whatever resources were available. Small theropods may have scavenged carcasses, hunted insects, and foraged for fruits or seeds, using their versatility to survive in diverse environments. This adaptability often provided a survival advantage, allowing omnivores to endure periods of scarcity better than species with specialized diets. Diet also influenced social behavior. Herbivores often traveled in herds, both to find sufficient food and to protect themselves from predators. Carnivores may have coordinated in hunting packs, relying on cooperation to capture agile or armored prey. Nesting and parental care were closely tied to dietary needs, as young dinosaurs depended on adults to provide safe access to food until they could forage independently. Fossilized stomach contents, coprolites, and teeth wear patterns provide direct evidence of diet. Paleontologists can reconstruct not only what dinosaurs ate, but how they processed their food, how they hunted, and how their diets varied across different regions and seasons. These clues paint a picture of a world teeming with competition, adaptation, and opportunity. Seasonal and regional variations further complicated dietary strategies. Dinosaurs living in polar regions had to survive long winters with limited food, while those in tropical climates contended with dense vegetation and competition. Migration, selective foraging, and dietary flexibility were critical for survival, revealing a sophisticated understanding of their environment. Predator-prey dynamics were deeply influenced by diet. Herbivores evolved defenses, from armor and horns to herd behavior, while carnivores refined tactics, speed, and intelligence to secure meals. Each evolutionary innovation in diet had ripple effects through ecosystems, shaping species interactions and the balance of life. Even ecological roles were defined by dietary choices. Dinosaurs acted as grazers, browsers, scavengers, and top predators, influencing plant populations, nutrient cycles, and food web structures. Their feeding behavior impacted not only their survival, but the structure of entire ecosystems, demonstrating the interconnection between diet and environmental dynamics. Studying dinosaur diets allows us to understand more than just what they ate. It reveals how they lived, interacted, and survived in a complex, ever-changing world. From tiny insectivores to colossal plant eaters and cunning predators, the diversity of diets illustrates the ingenuity of life during the Mesozoic, offering a vivid window into a world that existed millions of years before humans ever walked the earth. To understand dinosaurs, we rely on the stories written in stone. Fossils are the primary window into the lives, behaviors, and evolution of these ancient creatures. Every bone, trackway, and fossilized egg provides clues, revealing secrets that have been buried for millions of years and transforming our understanding of the prehistoric world. The journey of discovery began centuries ago, with scattered fossil finds sparking curiosity and debate. Early paleontologists often faced skepticism and even ridicule, as the idea of giant extinct reptiles seemed unbelievable. Yet, as more fossils were unearthed, a clearer picture began to emerge. By the 19th century, iconic species like Megalosaurus, Iguanodon, and later Tyrannosaurus rex and Triceratops became symbols of a vanished era, capturing the imagination of scientists and the public alike. Fossils are far more than bones. They include footprints, skin impressions, nests, and even traces of soft tissue, each offering insight into dinosaur behavior, anatomy, and evolution. Trackways reveal movement, herd dynamics, and predator-prey interactions, while preserved eggs and embryos shed light on reproduction, nesting behaviors, and early development. Fossils provide a multi-dimensional view of life millions of years ago, offering more than just static skeletons. Advances in technology have revolutionized fossil study. CT scanning, 3D modeling, and chemical analysis allow scientists to examine internal structures without damaging precious specimens. Microscopic examination of bone tissue reveals growth rates, metabolism, and even potential diseases. Isotopic analysis of teeth and bones informs us about diet, migration patterns, and climate conditions. Each technological breakthrough opens a new chapter in the dinosaur story. The discovery of feathered dinosaurs in China transformed our understanding of their evolution. Fossils with preserved feathers demonstrated that birds are living dinosaurs and revealed the diversity of feather types and functions. These finds challenge traditional ideas, showing that feathers were used not only for flight, but also for insulation, display, and communication. Feathered fossils brought dinosaurs to life in vivid, dynamic ways, bridging the gap between science and imagination. Fossil sites around the world each tell unique stories. The badlands of North America, the deserts of Mongolia, the plains of Argentina, and the forests of China all yield different species and ecosystems. Each discovery adds to the mosaic of the Mesozoic, illustrating the diversity and complexity of life across continents and time periods. Paleontologists must carefully interpret these sites, reconstructing entire worlds from fragmentary evidence. Sometimes, fossils reveal mysteries that challenge our assumptions. Soft tissue, preserved proteins, and trace elements have been found in exceptionally rare specimens, prompting debates about preservation, biology, and even the possibility of extracting ancient DNA. These discoveries fuel both scientific research and public fascination, blurring the line between fact and speculative imagination. Fossil discoveries also illustrate the painstaking work of paleontologists. Excavating bones, preserving fragile specimens, and analyzing data can take years or decades. Every fossil has a story, from the circumstances of its burial to the painstaking effort to reconstruct skeletons in museums. The human dedication behind these discoveries mirrors the persistence and ingenuity of the dinosaurs themselves. Moreover, fossils reveal evolutionary connections. Comparing skeletons across species shows trends in anatomy, behavior, and adaptation. Birds, crocodilians, and other modern species provide living reference points, helping paleontologists infer traits of extinct relatives. Fossil discoveries are not static, they are part of an evolving scientific dialogue, continually refined as new finds emerge. Ultimately, fossil discoveries allow us to peer into the Mesozoic world, reconstructing not just the appearance of dinosaurs, but their behaviors, ecosystems, and evolution. Every excavation uncovers a fragment of a story that spans millions of years, connecting us to a time when Earth was ruled by these extraordinary creatures. Through fossils, dinosaurs come alive again, not as relics of the past, but as enduring symbols of life's diversity, resilience, and mystery. The sudden disappearance of the dinosaurs 66 million years ago remains one of the most dramatic events in Earth's history. Scientists have long debated the causes, exploring catastrophic scenarios that could explain how these mighty creatures, dominant for over 160 million years, were wiped from the planet. Multiple theories emerge, each revealing the fragile balance of life and the immense forces that shape our world. The most widely accepted explanation is the asteroid impact theory. A massive object, roughly 10 kilometers across, struck what is now the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, creating the Chicxulub crater. The collision unleashed energy millions of times greater than the most powerful human-made explosions, vaporizing rock, triggering wildfires, and sending dust and debris into the atmosphere. Sunlight was blocked, temperatures plunged, and ecosystems collapsed almost instantly. This event alone could have caused the mass extinction, wiping out dinosaurs and many other species. However, the asteroid may not tell the whole story. Volcanic activity, particularly the Deccan Traps in present-day India, was already reshaping the Earth's climate. Massive lava flows released carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide, warming the planet while acidifying oceans and altering atmospheric chemistry. These eruptions lasted thousands of years, stressing ecosystems and reducing biodiversity long before the asteroid struck. Some scientists argue that the combination of volcanic activity and the asteroid's impact created the perfect storm for extinction. Other environmental factors likely played a role. Sea level changes, climate fluctuations, and shifting ecosystems may have weakened dinosaur populations over millions of years. Rising or falling seas altered coastal habitats, while global temperature shifts disrupted food chains. Dinosaurs that had once thrived could have been struggling to adapt, making them more vulnerable when catastrophe struck. These long-term pressures highlight that extinction often results from a combination of factors, not a single event. Some researchers also explore disease and ecological collapse as contributing factors. Epidemics could have spread rapidly among stressed populations, further reducing numbers and weakening ecosystems. Competition for food, loss of habitat, and predation pressures may have compounded the crisis. The extinction event was likely multifaceted, with each stressor amplifying the others. Evidence from fossils supports these theories. Shocked quartz, tektites, and iridium layers worldwide point to a massive asteroid impact. Lava flows, ash deposits, and chemical signatures document prolonged volcanism. Fossil layers show abrupt declines in species diversity, while some regions indicate gradual population stress before the final catastrophe. Together, these clues create a picture of a world under immense strain, culminating in a dramatic die-off. scientists continue to investigate why some species survived while most perished. Small mammals, birds, and certain reptiles endured, suggesting that size, adaptability, diet, and habitat played crucial roles. Survival may have depended on flexibility, the ability to find shelter, or the chance to avoid immediate disaster. Understanding survival patterns helps illuminate not only the extinction itself, but also the principles that govern life under extreme stress. Even today, debates continue. Some argue for the dominance of the asteroid, others emphasize volcanism, and some propose a synergy of multiple factors. New discoveries, computer models, and geochemical analyzers constantly refine our understanding. Each new piece of evidence shifts perspectives, reminding us that science is an ongoing journey of discovery, interpretation, and debate. The extinction of the dinosaurs also invites broader reflection. It demonstrates the power of sudden events to reshape life, the interconnectedness of ecosystems, and the vulnerability of even dominant species. It challenges us to consider the fragility of life and the forces, both cosmic and terrestrial, that have the capacity to change the trajectory of evolution. Ultimately, mass extinction theories remind us that Earth's history is a story of both resilience and catastrophe. Dinosaurs may have dominated for millions of years, but even they were not immune to the combined might of asteroids, volcanoes, and environmental upheaval. Studying these events allows us to understand not only the past, but also the principles that govern survival, adaptation, and the delicate balance of life on our ever-changing planet. The extinction of the dinosaurs 66 million years ago marked not just an end, but the beginning of a profound transformation for life on Earth. With the giants gone, ecosystems that had been dominated by dinosaurs for millions of years opened new opportunities for surviving species, setting the stage for the rise of mammals, birds, and ultimately humans. Immediately after the extinction event, the Earth was a world in turmoil. Ash and debris from the asteroid blocked sunlight, leading to a period often described as an impact winter. Temperatures plummeted, photosynthesis slowed, and food chains collapsed. Plant life, especially in the higher latitudes, faced severe stress, and herbivores that relied on these plants rapidly declined. This created a cascade of consequences for carnivores, which lost their primary food sources. The surviving species were typically small, adaptable, and able to exploit niches that larger dinosaurs could not. Small mammals, some reptiles, and birds endured by burrowing, feeding on insects, or finding shelter in trees. These survivors had traits that allowed them to navigate a drastically changed world. Flexibility in diet, rapid reproduction, and the ability to move or hide from environmental stresses. Survival was as much about opportunity and chance as about adaptation. Over thousands and millions of years, life slowly began to recover. The absence of dinosaurs removed dominant predators and herbivores, leaving ecological niches open for new species. Mammals, previously small and nocturnal, diversified rapidly. They evolved into larger forms, exploring land, water, and even the air in ways that were impossible while dinosaurs reigned. This adaptive radiation laid the foundation for the mammals we see today. Birds, as living descendants of theropod dinosaurs, thrived in this post-extinction world. With fewer terrestrial predators, they expanded into new ecological roles, from seed dispersers to aerial predators. Modern avian diversity owes much to this sudden opportunity, with species evolving to exploit a variety of environments and food sources. Their survival illustrates the continuity of life, connecting the Mesozoic to the present day. Plant life also rebounded. Angiosperms, or flowering plants, diversified rapidly in the absence of massive herbivores, creating new ecosystems and food sources for animals. Forests, grasslands, and wetlands reshaped the landscapes, supporting increasingly complex food webs. This ecological recovery set the stage for the evolution of larger mammals and eventually complex ecosystems that could sustain apex predators, omnivores, and scavengers. The fossil record from this period shows a dynamic process of recovery, with species evolving quickly to fill vacated niches. Adaptation and evolution accelerated in ways that would have been impossible under dinosaur dominance. Traits such as herbivory, flight, and burrowing expanded across multiple lineages, demonstrating the power of opportunity in shaping evolutionary pathways. The aftermath also highlights the fragility and resilience of life. While the mass extinction was catastrophic, it created a reset point that allowed life to diversify in new directions. Extinction and recovery are intertwined processes, showing that while species can be wiped out, the potential for life to rebound and flourish is ever present. Studying the aftermath of dinosaur extinction also provides insight into modern conservation. Just as ecosystems were altered after 66 million years ago, today's species face environmental pressures and mass extinctions caused by humans. Understanding past recoveries helps scientists predict which species may survive, adapt, or perish under current global changes. Ultimately, the world after the dinosaurs was one of both loss and opportunity. The giants may have vanished, but the vacuum they left allowed life to reinvent itself. Mammals rose, birds flourished, and Earth gradually became a planet where intelligence, adaptability, and diversity could thrive. The aftermath of the dinosaurs' extinction reminds us that even the most dramatic endings can sow the seeds of new beginnings, shaping the trajectory of life for millions of years to come. Dinosaurs have captured human imagination for centuries, transcending science to become cultural icons. From towering predators to gentle giants, these creatures have inspired awe, fear, and curiosity, influencing art, literature, movies, and even fashion. Exploring dinosaurs in popular culture reveals not only how humans perceive the prehistoric world, but also how science and imagination intertwine to bring these ancient creatures to life. The fascination began long before Hollywood. In the 19th century, when paleontologists first began reconstructing skeletons, museums became gateways to the Mesozoic world. Skeletons of Iguanodon, Megalosaurus, and later Tyrannosaurus rex drew crowds eager to glimpse creatures thought long extinct. Early illustrations and models, sometimes inaccurate by modern standards, sparked curiosity and speculation about behavior, appearance, and even temperament. Books and literature further shaped the dinosaur narrative. Jules Verne and Arthur Conan Doyle imagined encounters with prehistoric creatures in lost worlds, remote islands, or hidden valleys. These stories fueled the idea that dinosaurs were not just fossils but living, breathing beings, capable of inspiring adventure and danger. Literature bridged the gap between science and imagination, allowing readers to explore the Mesozoic without leaving their chairs. Cinema transformed the way we experience dinosaurs. Movies like King Kong in the 1930s and later Jurassic Park in 1993 brought dinosaurs to life with unprecedented realism. Special effects, animatronics, and CGI allowed filmmakers to recreate movement, sound, and behavior, thrilling audiences worldwide. The depiction of dinosaurs as intelligent, sometimes terrifying creatures captured imaginations and spurred renewed interest in paleontology, inspiring new generations of scientists and enthusiasts. Dinosaurs in culture also reflect evolving science. Early portrayals often showed them as slow, lumbering reptiles, while modern interpretations depict them as active, dynamic, and sometimes feathered creatures. Films, television shows, and documentaries increasingly incorporate scientific findings, showing agile predators, complex social behavior, and ecological interactions. Popular culture, in turn, helps communicate scientific knowledge to the public, blending entertainment with education. Dinosaurs have also influenced toys, games, and fashion. From model kits and action figures to themed parks and video games, these creatures inspire creativity and play. Children grow up imagining adventures alongside T-Rex or Velociraptor, developing fascination with prehistoric life that often persists into adulthood. Dinosaurs become touchstones for curiosity, wonder, and exploration. Beyond entertainment, dinosaurs have symbolic significance. They represent strength, mystery, and the passage of time. Their extinction reminds us of life's fragility, while their dominance evokes awe at nature's power. Artists, writers, and designers draw on these themes, embedding dinosaurs into works that explore human ambition, fear, and imagination. Even scientific discoveries influence popular culture. New fossils, feathered species, and insights into dinosaur behavior often inspire films, books, and documentaries. As paleontology progresses, the depiction of dinosaurs evolves, showing that culture and science are in constant dialogue. Popular portrayals are not static. They change with new evidence, blending imagination with fact. Dinosaurs also inspire educational outreach. Museums, science centers, and documentaries use engaging narratives to teach biology, evolution, and Earth history. By capturing attention through popular culture, these programs spark interest in STEM fields, illustrating the power of storytelling to connect past and present, imagination and science. Ultimately, dinosaurs in popular culture serve as a bridge between our world and the distant past. They allow us to imagine life millions of years ago, confront the unknown, and explore themes of survival, evolution, and extinction. Through movies, books, art, and games, dinosaurs continue to captivate, reminding us that even long-extinct creatures can live vibrantly in our collective imagination. Dinosaurs have fascinated humans for centuries, but alongside fascination comes misunderstanding. Popular culture, early scientific speculation, and incomplete fossil records have created myths and misconceptions that persist even today. Separating fact from fiction not only clarifies our understanding of these ancient creatures, but also highlights the evolving nature of science and discovery. One of the most enduring myths is that all dinosaurs were enormous, lumbering giants. While the sheer size of creatures like Brachiosaurus and Tyrannosaurus rex captures our imagination, the reality is that dinosaurs came in a remarkable range of sizes. Many were no larger than chickens, while others were mid-sized predators or herbivores adapted for agility rather than brute force. Size diversity allowed them to occupy a wide range of ecological niches, much like mammals do today. Another common misconception is that dinosaurs were sluggish and slow. Early reconstructions, influenced by the belief that reptiles are cold-blooded and lethargic, depicted them dragging their tails and moving clumsily. Modern science has overturned this idea. Fossilized trackways, muscle attachment points, and skeletal structures reveal active, dynamic creatures capable of running, hunting, and complex movement. Many were agile, intelligent, and well adapted to their environments. Feathers and plumage are often overlooked in popular portrayals. Until the past few decades, dinosaurs were typically shown with scaly reptilian skin. Discoveries in China and elsewhere have revealed feathered species, particularly among theropods. Feathers were likely used for insulation, display, and communication, not just flight. This finding challenges outdated images and demonstrates the close evolutionary link between dinosaurs and modern birds. Some myths arise from misunderstandings about dinosaur behavior. Movies and media often depict them as mindless killers or constantly aggressive predators. In reality, predator-prey dynamics were complex. Hunting required strategy, patience, and sometimes cooperation, while herbivores relied on speed, camouflage, and social behavior to survive. Dinosaurs displayed diverse behaviors, including nesting, parental care, and possibly even social hierarchies, reflecting a nuanced and sophisticated approach to survival. Misconceptions also exist regarding extinction. Some believe all dinosaurs died instantly due to the asteroid impact. While the asteroid triggered massive devastation, extinction was a process influenced by multiple factors, including volcanic activity, climate change, and ecological pressures. Fossil evidence shows that some species were already declining before the catastrophic event, illustrating that extinction often involves gradual stress as well as sudden catastrophe. Scientific terms are sometimes misapplied in media and conversation. Words like dinosaur are used broadly to describe any prehistoric reptile, including pterosaurs and marine reptiles like mosasaurs. However, these creatures are not technically dinosaurs. Accurate classification matters because it shapes our understanding of evolutionary relationships and ecological roles. Misuse of terminology can perpetuate confusion about how these animals lived and evolved. Another common myth involves dinosaur intelligence. While some species were indeed clever hunters or social creatures, others relied on instinct and sheer physical adaptation. Intelligence varied greatly across species, and it's misleading to assume that all dinosaurs were either highly intelligent or completely primitive. Fossil evidence, brain size estimates, and comparisons with modern animals help refine our understanding of their cognitive abilities. Even depictions of sound are speculative. Movies often give dinosaurs roaring voices, but we have no definitive evidence of their actual sounds. They may have used vocalizations, hisses, or low-frequency calls, but much remains uncertain. These gaps highlight the challenges of reconstructing behavior from fossils, reminding us that imagination fills the spaces left by incomplete evidence. By examining myths and misconceptions, we gain a clearer, more accurate picture of dinosaurs. Science is continually refining our understanding, correcting outdated beliefs, and providing insight into the diversity, complexity, and adaptability of these ancient creatures. Separating fact from fiction allows us to appreciate dinosaurs not just as cultural icons or movie monsters, but as real, living animals that roamed the earth millions of years ago. Dinosaurs were masters of adaptation, evolving remarkable physical and behavioral traits to survive in a world full of predators, competitors, and environmental challenges. Their success for over 160 million years was no accident. It was the result of continuous evolutionary innovation. From impenetrable armor to incredible speed and clever survival strategies, dinosaurs developed tools to thrive in diverse ecosystems. One of the most striking adaptations is body armor. Ankylosaurs, sometimes called living tanks, sported bony plates along their backs and tails, and some had massive clubs at the end of their tails for defense. Stegosaurs carried rows of spikes and plates, likely used for protection, display, or thermoregulation. Armor was not just about defense. It was a multifunctional tool, balancing protection with display and body temperature management. Speed was another crucial adaptation. Many predatory dinosaurs, such as Velociraptor and Deinonychus, relied on agility and rapid movement to hunt effectively. Long, powerful legs, flexible joints, and muscular tails provided balance and propulsion. Even some herbivores, like ornithomimids, evolved incredible speed to escape predators. Running ability was a key survival trait, allowing dinosaurs to catch prey or evade danger across plains, forests, and wetlands. Camouflage and display also played significant roles. Patterns, coloration, and crests may have helped dinosaurs blend into their environments or communicate with other members of their species. Some herbivores used disruptive patterns to hide from predators, while some predators may have employed stealth to ambush prey. Coloration and markings could serve multiple functions, including intimidation, courtship, and territorial signaling, reflecting a sophisticated understanding of visual communication. Defense strategies extended beyond physical adaptations. Herding behavior in herbivores provided protection, as large groups could confuse predators or create a collective watch system. Some species may have used vocalizations to warn of danger, while others relied on sudden movements or feigned weakness to mislead attackers. These behavioral strategies highlight intelligence and instinct working hand in hand to enhance survival. Dietary adaptations were also key. Specialized teeth, claws, and digestive systems allowed dinosaurs to exploit different food sources. Carnivores developed sharp, serrated teeth and powerful jaws for tearing flesh, while herbivores evolved grinding teeth, beaks, and even gastrolith stones swallowed to help digest tough plants. These adaptations allowed species to occupy specific niches, reducing competition and increasing survival chances. Reproductive adaptations played a role in species persistence. Nesting behaviors, egg-laying strategies, and parental care helped protect the next generation. Some species buried eggs, while others may have guarded nests or even fed hatchlings. Reproductive strategies were as diverse as survival strategies, ensuring the continuation of lineages despite environmental pressures. Thermoregulation was another critical adaptation. Fossil evidence suggests that some dinosaurs, particularly smaller species, may have been warm-blooded or had partial insulation through feathers or fat layers. Large sauropods and armored species used other mechanisms, like blood flow through plates, to regulate body temperature. These adaptations allowed dinosaurs to inhabit a variety of climates, from tropical forests to cooler polar regions. Sensory adaptations enhanced survival. Exceptional vision, keen hearing, and acute smell allowed predators to hunt efficiently and prey to detect threats early. Trackways and fossilized skulls reveal that sensory abilities were highly developed, often dictating hunting strategies, social interactions, and environmental awareness. Ultimately, dinosaur adaptations illustrate the remarkable interplay of anatomy, behavior, and environment. From armor and speed to camouflage, diet, reproduction, and sensory perception, each innovation was a survival tool honed over millions of years. Studying these adaptations not only shows how dinosaurs dominated their world but also provides insight into the principles of evolution, resilience, and the incredible creativity of life itself. Dinosaurs were not just stationary creatures confined to one area. They were dynamic, mobile, and often traveled vast distances in search of resources. Migration played a crucial role in their survival, allowing them to follow seasonal changes, water sources, and abundant food supplies. Understanding dinosaur migration gives us insight into their behavior, social structures, and the challenges they faced in a constantly changing world. Fossil evidence suggests that many herbivorous dinosaurs engaged in seasonal migrations. Large sauropods such as Diplodocus and Brachiosaurus likely moved between regions to access fresh foliage. Fossilized trackways, nesting sites, and tooth-wear patterns indicate patterns of movement consistent with following plant growth cycles. Migration was a strategy for survival, ensuring that these massive animals could find enough food to sustain their enormous bodies. Predators also participated indirectly in migration. Large carnivores, like Tyrannosaurus rex, may have followed the movements of prey herds, capitalizing on predictable patterns. This predator-prey dynamic created a ripple effect across ecosystems, influencing hunting strategies, territorial behavior, and social structures. Migration wasn't just about individual survival, it shaped entire ecological networks. Water availability was another driver of movement. Dinosaurs depended on rivers, lakes, and wetlands for hydration, and seasonal droughts or flooding would force relocation. Fossil evidence shows that some species inhabited diverse environments over their lifetime, suggesting flexible migratory behaviors. These movements required navigation skills, memory of landscape features, and possibly even social coordination within herds. Some species may have traveled hundreds of kilometers, crossing diverse terrains from forests to plains to swamps. Fossilized trackways reveal long, continuous paths that indicate sustained movement rather than random wandering. Migration allowed dinosaurs to exploit seasonal peaks in food abundance, avoid harsh weather, and reduce competition for resources, illustrating a level of ecological sophistication that mirrors modern migratory animals. Social behavior often enhanced migration success. Herds of herbivores could coordinate movements, ensuring that younger, weaker, or older individuals remained protected. Group travel reduced the risk of predation and allowed knowledge of routes and water sources to be passed down through generations. Social coordination may have been critical for survival, particularly for species traveling across unfamiliar or dangerous landscapes. Climatic changes also influenced migratory patterns. Ice-free polar regions during the Mesozoic still experienced periods of darkness or reduced food availability, prompting seasonal migration. Similarly, fluctuating rainfall in tropical regions could concentrate food sources, leading to temporary aggregations or long-distance movements. Migration was not optional. It was often essential for life in a changing environment. Migration left traces beyond trackways. Fossilized dung, isotopic analysis of bones and teeth, and nesting sites provide evidence of seasonal movement and diet shifts. By studying these clues, paleontologists can reconstruct migratory routes, understand feeding strategies, and infer the pressures that shaped survival strategies over millions of years. The ability to migrate also contributed to evolutionary success. Species capable of long-distance movement could colonize new regions, exploit novel resources, and avoid localized disasters. Migration acted as both a survival mechanism and an evolutionary tool, promoting adaptation and diversity across the Mesozoic world. Ultimately, dinosaur migration highlights the complex interplay of behavior, environment, and survival. These ancient giants were not passive inhabitants of their landscapes. They actively navigated, responded to, and shaped their ecosystems. By following food, water, and seasonal cycles, dinosaurs demonstrated a level of ecological intelligence that underscores their dominance and adaptability. Migration was not just a journey across space, it was a journey of survival, innovation, and life in motion. Dinosaurs are often imagined as instinct-driven giants, but emerging evidence suggests their intelligence was far more complex than many people assume. From problem-solving abilities to social coordination, some dinosaurs may have displayed behaviors that rival modern birds and reptiles, challenging long-held assumptions about their cognitive capacities. Brain size relative to body size is one measure scientists use to estimate intelligence. Theropods, particularly small to medium-sized predators like Velociraptor and Troodon, had relatively large brains for their body size. Their cranial capacity suggests heightened sensory perception, complex motor skills, and possibly sophisticated hunting strategies. A larger brain does not guarantee intelligence, but it indicates potential for advanced behavior and problem-solving. Hunting strategies reveal evidence of cognitive skills. Fossilized trackways, bone injuries, and group dynamics suggest that some predatory dinosaurs may have hunted cooperatively. Coordinated hunting requires communication, planning, and an understanding of social roles within the group. These behaviors point to intelligence that allowed dinosaurs to adapt to environmental challenges and maximize hunting success. Social interactions also provide insight into mental capacity. Fossils indicate herding behavior, parental care, and even complex nesting arrangements. Communicating warnings, maintaining social bonds, and protecting offspring would have required memory, perception, and decision-making skills. Some species may have recognized individuals, coordinated movement, or even developed hierarchies, demonstrating social intelligence. Problem-solving and tool use, while less directly evidenced, remain a possibility. Modern birds, which descended from theropods, exhibit remarkable problem-solving abilities and tool use. If cognitive traits were already present in their dinosaur ancestors, some dinosaurs may have displayed similar ingenuity, navigating environmental challenges in creative ways. Sensory perception plays a role in intelligence as well. Sharp vision, acute hearing, and keen smell allowed dinosaurs to interpret their environment effectively. Predators could track prey, herbivores could detect predators early, and social species could communicate subtle cues. Intelligence is not just abstract reasoning. It is the ability to process information and respond adaptively, and dinosaurs had these sensory tools in abundance. Some herbivores also showed behavioral sophistication. Stegosaurus and Triceratops, though not predators, may have used displays, postures, or vocalizations to communicate, assert dominance, or coordinate with group members. Intelligence manifests in survival strategies beyond hunting, including adaptation to threats, resource competition, and social interactions. Cognition may have varied widely across species. While some dinosaurs exhibited higher intelligence, others likely relied on instinct and simpler behaviors. This diversity reflects evolutionary pressures, ecological roles, and survival strategies. Intelligence is not uniform, it evolves in response to challenges, opportunities, and ecological niches. Even dinosaur learning and memory are worth considering. Fossil evidence of repeated behavior patterns, migration routes, and foraging strategies suggests some species had the capacity for spatial memory and learning. Remembering safe paths, abundant feeding grounds, or predator threats would have been crucial for survival, and may reflect a level of cognitive sophistication. Ultimately, considering dinosaur intelligence invites us to see these creatures in a new light. They were not merely brute animals. They were adaptive, perceptive, and sometimes clever survivors. By studying brain size, behavior, social interactions, and sensory abilities, scientists continue to uncover the mental lives of these ancient creatures, reminding us that the Mesozoic world was filled with not only spectacular forms, but also fascinating minds. Communication was essential for dinosaurs, just as it is for modern animals. Whether coordinating within a herd, warning of predators, attracting mates, or establishing territory, dinosaurs likely relied on a combination of sounds, visual displays, and physical signals to interact with one another. Studying these behaviors helps us imagine how these creatures experience their world, adding depth to our understanding of their lives. Vocal communication is one area where paleontologists have speculated. While no direct recordings exist, the structure of skulls, crests, and air sacs suggests that some species produce sounds ranging from low-frequency bellows to high-pitched calls. Large sauropods may have used deep rumbling sounds to communicate over long distances, alerting herd members to danger or coordinating movement across vast landscapes. These sounds would have been both functional and possibly symbolic within social groups. Crests, horns, and frills were not merely for defense. They likely served communicative purposes. Parasaurolophus, for example, had a long, tubular crest that could have acted as a resonating chamber, producing distinctive calls. Ceratopsians like Triceratops may have used their horns and frills to signal dominance or readiness to mate. Such physical features provided both visual and auditory cues, combining form and function to enhance communication. Body posture and movement also played an essential role. Tail positions, head displays, and even feather arrangement could convey intent, mood, or warning signals. Dinosaurs may have raised feathers or frills to appear larger, tilted heads to assert dominance, or flicked tails as signals within social groups. These behaviors suggest a sophisticated understanding of visual communication, crucial in both predator-prey interactions and social coordination. Social species likely relied heavily on communication to maintain group cohesion. Herding herbivores, for example, needed ways to warn of approaching predators or coordinate movement during migration. Vocalizations, scent marking, and physical gestures could have served these purposes, ensuring survival through collective awareness. The ability to interpret signals from other individuals would have been critical, reinforcing the idea that communication and cognition were linked. Communication may also have played a role in mating and reproduction. Courtship displays, bright coloration, and ritualized movements could attract mates or establish hierarchies within breeding groups. Such behaviors are common in modern birds and reptiles, suggesting that similar strategies were present in their dinosaur ancestors. Fossil evidence like preserved feathers and ornamented skulls hints at the importance of display in social interaction. Some dinosaurs may have used chemical signals, much like modern reptiles, to communicate. Pheromones could indicate territory, reproductive readiness, or stress. While direct evidence is rare, ecological and behavioral comparisons support this possibility. Chemical communication would have been especially useful in dense forests or at night, complementing visual and auditory cues. Even predator-prey interactions involve communication. Predators needed to approach silently, while prey species used early warning signals to alert group members. Fossilized trackways and behavioral reconstruction suggest that stealth, alarm calls, and coordinated group movements were integral to survival. Communication, in this sense, was both defensive and proactive. Studying dinosaur communication also informs our understanding of evolution. Birds, the descendants of theropods, exhibit a wide range of vocalizations, displays, and social signals, suggesting continuity in communicative behavior over millions of years. By examining fossils and modern relatives, scientists can reconstruct the likely modes and purposes of dinosaur communication. Ultimately, communication was vital for dinosaur survival. Sounds, visual displays, postures, and possibly chemical signals allowed these creatures to navigate complex social structures, avoid threats, attract mates, and maintain group cohesion. By exploring the ways dinosaurs may have communicated, we gain a richer, more dynamic picture of their lives, imagining not just how they looked, but how they experienced their world and interacted with one another. The Mesozoic era was a world ruled not only by giants, but also by fearsome predators. From towering tyrannosaurs to agile raptors, dinosaur predators were apex hunters that dominated ecosystems, shaped prey behavior, and left an enduring legacy in our imagination. Understanding these predators gives us insight into the fierce, competitive, and dynamic nature of life millions of years ago. Tyrannosaurus rex often steals the spotlight as the ultimate predator. Standing over 12 meters long and weighing up to 9 tons, Rex possessed massive jaws capable of crushing bone, and strong legs that enabled surprisingly fast bursts of speed. Fossil evidence suggests a combination of keen vision, acute smell, and incredible bite force, making it a top predator. However, recent studies suggest that it may have also been an opportunistic hunter and scavenger, striking when the opportunity arose. Smaller, agile predators like Velociraptor were equally formidable in their own right. While only about 2 meters long, they were fast, intelligent, and lightly hunted in packs. Their curved claws and sharp teeth allowed them to take down prey much larger than themselves. Evidence from fossils, including preserved quill knobs indicating feathers, shows that these predators were dynamic, coordinated, and possibly even social hunters, demonstrating sophisticated strategies for survival. Spinosaurus, one of the largest known carnivorous dinosaurs, provides another example of predator specialization. Adapted for semi-aquatic life, Spinosaurus likely hunted both fish and land animals, showcasing incredible versatility. Its long, crocodile-like snout and conical teeth reveal a predator designed to exploit multiple niches, proving that apex predators came in many forms, each uniquely adapted to their environment. Predator-prey dynamics were a constant evolutionary arms race. Herbivores evolved armor, horns, speed, and defensive behaviors to survive, while predators developed enhanced senses, speed, and strategies to capture them. Fossilized injuries on bones, bite marks, and healed wounds reveal these ancient battles, showing a world of survival, cunning, and adaptation where predators and prey influenced each other's evolution over millions of years. Some predators specialized in specific hunting styles. Allosaurus, for example, may have relied on ambush and precision, striking swiftly at vital areas, while dromaeosaurs used intelligence and teamwork. These diverse approaches illustrate that being a top predator required more than strength. It demanded strategy, coordination, and often patience. Even apex predators were not invincible. Competition among large carnivores, environmental changes, and prey scarcity created challenges that required adaptability. Some species thrived for millions of years, while others faced extinction when conditions shifted. Studying these patterns helps us understand the delicate balance of ecosystems and the pressures shaping evolutionary success. Fossils also reveal intriguing behaviors. Bite marks on bones indicate hunting techniques and struggles, while trackways suggest pursuit patterns and group coordination. Rarely, fossils even capture evidence of predators caught in combat or fossilized in the act of hunting, providing a vivid window into life and death scenarios from the Mesozoic. Predator intelligence played a role as well. Hunting in packs, coordinating attacks, or using environmental features for advantage required problem-solving skills and social awareness. These behaviors indicate that predatory dinosaurs were not mindless killing machines. They were active, adaptive, and responsive to their surroundings. The cultural impact of these predators is immense. Tyrannosaurus rex, Velociraptor, and Spinosaurus dominate movies, books, and documentaries, symbolizing raw power, fear, and fascination. While some portrayals exaggerate size or behavior, they reflect humanity's enduring awe of predators and our fascination with the natural world's extremes. Ultimately, dinosaur predators were masters of their environments, shaping ecosystems, influencing evolution, and leaving a legacy that endures in both science and culture. Their strength, intelligence, and adaptability highlight the complexity of life in the Mesozoic, reminding us that survival depended not only on size and power, but on strategy, skill, and the relentless drive to thrive in a world ruled by teeth, claws, and instinct. Thanks so much for watching. I'd love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments where you're watching from, and what time it is there right now. It's amazing to think people all over the world are joining in on this journey through time. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss future adventures.